What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J and we are locked in. This is the season finale of Raising Kanan, and if you can't tell, I got the Streets Need a Body mixtape on the hat. Whew. It's gonna be crazy. The streets really need one in this finale. We know that there's a war starting to begin, and it seems like this season literally just started a couple weeks ago. But here we are, episode 10, and we want to know what the hell is Rock gonna do to get out of this situation with the mob? Is Kanan about to become full demon? And is Malcolm gonna finally have that family that he's been yearning for his whole life? Now, before we jump into it and break this down, make sure you tune in Sunday night for the official live after show discussion of Raising Kanan, episode 10, 9 p.m. Eastern. But until then, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button and follow me on Instagram right here. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Not too much talking, break down this and see if season 3 is going to have a good opening, because this should end with a bang.
You the heir to this throne, Kanan, and it's waiting for you if you want it.
At the end of episode 9, we were all thinking Marvin may have made the hugest mistake in his life by giving Sam the junkie some money and putting him on a bus to go to Atlanta. That's because we seen Sam get off the bus 2 stops later. Well, in the opening scene, we see Sam the junkie in here with one of his street colleagues, and they're taking a hit of that rock. Now you hear Kanan narrating, saying he never got into it because that consumes your life. Marvin comes in, boom, boom, boom. We got our first body. Turns out Sam used to be an accountant, a CPA, counting people's money. I told everyone that Sam was a hustler. Everyone laughed. Well, it turned out Sam used to be a real life hustler and accountant. Now Marvin says, "You see what you made me do? Now I got to take you out." Sam says, "Let me hit this rock one more time." And boom, boom, boom. We at body number 2. Marvin took out Sam the junkie. Unique and Raquel, they meet up because Unique has that information. We know he's been talking to Sal. Sal's a little bit disappointed and he wants the ins and outs of Raquel's operation. But Unique doesn't tell him anything. What he does is he goes and meets up with Raquel and lets her know Sal is coming. And she's saying, "You probably told where I was at." I told you all, Unique, he sticks to the code and he's going to make sure the people on the south side, they straight, even if they are beefing with each other, because the south side sticks together just like the mob sticks together. Now, outside of that, Raquel is saying, once everything is done with the mob, look, I want you to come work with me. I need somebody that knows how to, get things done. Move this, pick up that, and Unique, you're the man. But Unique is saying him and Warrell, they got their own plans. They're going to expand and do their own thing. Raquel says she's going to be global with it. And on top of that, Unique says, I'm not the type to work for anybody. And Raquel explains, "You're working for me now." Unique isn't trying to hear that. So he asked her, "Hey, were you ever interested in me? Were you ever feeling it? Were you ever feeling me?" She said, "Nah, we tried to kill each other." He said, "Well, sometimes romances start at work, at the water cooler." She said, "We ain't got one of those." So Unique, he been trying to get at Rock since season 1, and he just shooting his shot. Famous and Kanan, they're sitting around hitting the blunt, trying to figure out how they gonna pay rent. Famous told Kanan, "If you're gonna be around here, you're gonna have to kick in, because we ain't got no money. We're gonna have to figure it out." And Kanan comes up with an idea of getting back on the block. And Famous is talking about selling what? That ass? Kanan looks over, "Nah, fool, we gonna get that work. I can handle that." Now you remember, they done that before, and that's how they covered the rent for a little bit. Famous is saying, Rock isn't gonna give you that work. Kanan is becoming Kanan, and he tells Famous straight up, "Oh, I don't need her to give me anything. All of that is mine. It's been mine." Because you heard Rock tell Kanan, "You're the heir to this throne." So in his mind, he think he has free range to go get whatever he wants out of there. Lulu's in the studio and he's going through the mail. We don't know what all Crown left behind. We did know that he was in debt to Lentime Manley for 50 bands, so it's no telling what he has going on. But it looks like there's some big numbers on these envelopes. In comes Ziza. Now, she's saying she had to step away from music a little bit because her parents were scared after everyone heard that Cartier was dead and they thought it was linked to the music. So that's why she's been gone. So while she was gone, she was actually putting together a beat of her own. And when she popped it in, it kind of sounded like some old Mary J. Lulu hears it. She says she's an artist. He tells her to get in the booth because we got to get back to working. We still got to make money for this hobby, according to Rock. We were all curious how the Kenya storyline would play out. Well, we see Corey coming out of the church and Jukebox is waiting for him on the stoop. He walks by, she runs up on him and says, that night we went out, that was a setup. Now it turns out Corey was put there to talk to Juke because they thought that she was making the wrong decisions. Juke found out about this and she proceeds to whoop on Corey. He didn't stand a chance. This is arguably one of the worst fight scenes in the Power universe, but Corey got whooped on, all because he set her up, because that's what the church in Kenya wanted. Now the police, they do come and we see a demon side of Jukebox for a little bit. There's nothing like Tim's to the ribs early in the morning. Detective Burke is looking for Sam and she stumbles across the junkie headquarters. When she goes in, all right, where is Sam at? Someone give me answers right now. Everybody's basically like F you 5-0. Now one of the guys says, yeah, I know where Sam is. He had some money in his pocket. He wasn't showing no love. Plus, in the crack house they got a heater. So they all sedity. It's a invite only party over there to beam up on the rock. So she's like, all right, what can we do to get Sam? Because I might bring the cops in for all y'all. They said, shut up, get out of here. So basically, they didn't give her any information. They just want to hit that rock. But Detective Burke, she need to get on it because that body is starting to get cold thanks to Marvin. New York, big city of dreams. Sal knows he has a problem, so he needs to go to New York and talk to the godfather of all the mobs, Stefano. Now, Stefano owns an aquarium, and when he gets in here, he gives his condolences to Sal about Marco dying, but he gets straight to business, and he says that Rock actually talked to him about everything that's going on. And he told Sal the same thing he told Raquel. I don't want none of that going down in my city. So he also tells Sal, you need to handle this. And you need to keep all of that in Jersey. Don't be bringing this nonsense into New York because he is the godfather of all the families in New York City. So he doesn't want anything to come down to get people locked up. He also hustles Sal into buying the biggest aquarium that he has because he said Raquel has bought one too. So now Sal, he has the go ahead to get at Rock. Today was a good day. Kanan pulled up to Baisley, and what is he doing? He's stealing the pack. Now Marvin sees him and he asks Kanan, what are you doing? It looks like you're stealing. Kanan said, I can't steal what's mine, because in Kanan's mind, this whole operation is his. His mom already said he gets it. Now Marvin is saying Rock needs to know about this, and we came up short before, and I think it was you, Kanan. But Kanan tells Marvin, looks him in his eye and tell him, I don't give a damn what Rock thinks or knows. He looks at Marvin. Marvin tells security to get out the door. And just as I was suspecting, Marvin probably isn't going to say anything because he understands what Kanan is going through right now. So Kanan got the pack and it's time to hit the block with Young Famous. One of the officers from the precinct, the one that's been talking to Malcolm, told him about Burke and Sam talking. He's going to do the investigation of the Freddie murder. Now he's talking to a Mr. Mentor, the guy that was next door, the one that door cracked open, the one that seen them in there fighting Freddie the other day. And now Mr. Mentor is thinking, I don't know what you talking about. He's not giving any information because we already know how it is when you live in these environments. If you get caught snitching, it could be very ugly for you. Now, the cop, he doesn't get any information. He does give him the card, but Mr. Mentor, he sets that card down because it doesn't look like he's about to give any information as of yet. It's time for the Thomas daily meeting. You see the fish tank in the back. Rock is saying she talked to Unique. She didn't give him any information. He didn't really give any information. And we hear Marvin mention that Unique is only for himself. And I 1000% agree with that. But what we also hear is Rock says Stefano gave her the green light to do whatever she needs to do with Sal. Just don't involve them. And she also hired outside shooters to come and help Lulu and Marvin. Now she's trying to explain to them that this isn't a bump in the road. It's just a lane change. Meaning all we need to do is put that blinker on, check the side mirror, and go with it. It shouldn't be too much work. So the gang, they need to get ready because the war begins. Detective Malcolm pulls up to a crime scene, and when he goes in, it's Sam and his colleague, both of them shot. And who's in there already? Detective Burke. And she's looking at it and she's upset because she knew that Sam was going to give some information on Malcolm shooting. Now Malcolm is saying he already went on record and he didn't know nothing. Burke is saying, well, he was going to give me some information. And Malcolm is saying they died because of crackhead stuff. Leave it alone, Burke, and let's just go on. And she's saying, well, maybe it did have something to do with your shooting. What do you know? So basically, she's calling Malcolm out, and he can kind of tell that she had some information, but luckily for him, Sam is gone. So Sam can't give up what really happened. We see the setup, and it's about to get real crazy. Rock goes outside and talks to the security in the car. Y'all hungry? Y'all good? Y'all want something? Then we see Lulu. He's walking off. Marvin is like, is everything all right? Lulu's basically like, man, we already got a lot on our plate. I already got rid of Jimmy and Cartier. Now we got to get ready to go at it with Sal. So he walks off. Marvin, you can see that he has a little bit of empathy for his brother because he's like, man, I want to make sure he's good. And Rock is saying, when did you start looking out for Lulu like that? That's because Lulu helped him out. When Jimmy tried to get at Marvin, Lulu was the one to handle it. Now, it turns out Marvin actually tells Raquel, Kanan came by, he stole 2 G-Packs, and he didn't give a damn what you thought about it. So, of course, Rock is thinking, I'm losing Kanan. But at the end of the day, the war is more important. So she said, don't worry about Kanan. Get focused on Sal. Jukebox is sitting in the holding cell. She gets released with a DAT. Now, a DAT is a desk appearance ticket, basically saying a police officer wrote up something. Hey, let them go now. They'll come back later for their court date to be arranged. So when she gets out, it's actually Detective Burke who got her out. So now Juke owes Burke again. And she's like, listen, is Malcolm Kanan's father? She said, you got it all figured out. You my fairy godmother, and Malcolm the black one is my cousin's daddy. No, Def Con is Kanan's dad. But since you helped me out in there, here's a heads up. The people you think you're riding with, they got a target on you just like everyone has a target on us. What she's hinting at is Malcolm is looking into you because you remember Malcolm went over to James' house. Also, Internal Affairs is looking into you because they tried to get Jukebox to talk about Burke. We see Marvin and Lulu getting masked up, armed up, loaded up, time to go. Now they're pulling up on Sal's people and they hanging outside. They talking about the Knicks game. They not too worried about anything going on. We're the mob. But when them cars come around that corner and the windows are let down and all you see is a ski mask and the flash from the barrel of that gun, body. We see 4 bodies drop. They get to shooting back. Even Sal comes out. He's looking a little scared. They got automatic weapons. He came out with a revolver. He wasn't about to do nothing. But Lulu and Marvin, they are on it. Kanan and Famous, they done set up shop on the block. Kanan gets the money. Famous is by the alley with the work. Pay Kanan, go down to Famous and you cop. You heard Kanan. Cop and keep it moving. Don't congregate around me. Give me the money. Go to Famous. Now Famous is saying, I thought Rock didn't want anybody on the block no more. Kanan tells him, fuck Rock. We gonna do what we gonna do. Let's get back to this money. Famous says, shoot, you ain't gotta tell me twice. We getting some money. All right, you got the pack. You got the work, Kanan. Say less, boss. The documents that Lulu was going through is actually to a bank. I thought it was some debt, but like I said, we don't know what kind of business Crown was doing. Now, when Lulu comes in here and checks on Bulletproof Records, he comes to find out that when Crown was alive, he signed over 15% of Bulletproof Records to some investor. When we get to that last page, that investor's name is Raquel Thomas. So Crown actually went behind Lulu's back, sold 15% to Raquel. Now she owns the record label. That's why she was telling the real estate agent, oh, I own a record label. Crown's gone. She's in place. Lulu is looking at it and he's upset because he thought everything fell to him because Cartier was out the picture and Crown was. But now there's a lot of money in the account. And Rock, she's beginning the washing process. The meeting we all been waiting for. Raquel, Tremont, Marvin, Abraham. They pull up and of course, Marvin is eating some chips. Now, things take a change. Tremont says, hey, listen, thanks for everything you did for Cartier. Got him up out of here, got Abraham out of here. But guess what? We don't need you guys. I don't want that pack because Rock is trying to expand down south. Turns out, you remember when Abraham was spying on Raquel, the plug, Juliana? Well, they went behind her back and they actually got a connection with him because they know that he got that work. So they don't need Rock, but she took care of their problems. Plus, they don't want to be in the middle of her going at it with the Italians. Now Rock is upset and she says we are not even. until I F you like you just F me. Tremont said, thank you for your business. And he walked on. So Tremont, we laughed about him. But hey, this brother made a play for himself. Juke meets up with Nicole's father, James. Now, he's been doing everything he can for Jukebox because he just wants justice for his daughter. So he thinks that Detective Burke was really exploiting these young girls and giving them the drugs. So he wants Juke to help him out by locking up Burke. But Juke comes clear with everything. She says, Burke didn't give Nicole the drugs. Those rocks were in my bag. Nicole took them. She smoked them without me knowing. And that's how she died. Now, James doesn't want to believe that his daughter did that, but this is the truth. And you also hear Juke say, man, I can't be talking about that cop because that isn't true. So that's why she did give some information to Burke, because Burke helped her out, but Burke didn't kill Nicole. Nicole killed Nicole. So James, he's a little bit upset because he was looking for change. He was wanting to make some differences and get Burke up off the streets, but Juke didn't let that go down. Kanan on the block, no shorts, no shorts. Cop and keep it moving. Famous is in the alley. He's supplying the junkies. Detective Burke rolls by and she said, no, I didn't just see Kanan out there. She hits that U-turn. Famous takes the pack and runs off. She snatches Kanan up, puts him against the wall, handcuffs, telling we need to talk. Slams him against the car and then puts him in the back. Burke is not playing around in these streets, especially after she found out that Sam is dead. So she needs to start connecting the dots right now. Rock has to go meet up with the plug, Raquel, because he got to deal with Abraham and Tremont. So Rock is in here saying that's not how business is done. That deal was supposed to be through me to them. You need to figure this out with all due respect. And he says, listen, Raquel, I didn't do it. I'm listening to my cousin Juliana. Now, Juliana, we remember she started off in the bodega. Just like Tremont went behind her back, Juliana did the same thing. You took out her husband. Now she feels like she has that power. Now, Marvin is saying, Rock, let's leave before we say or do something we might regret. And Juliana, as I said, she let that power go to her head and said, listen to your brother. Now, Rock explains to her, this is above you, Juliana, because she didn't do anything but own a bodega. So it's not about punching up. It's about how much you can take. Basically saying, all right, if this is how you guys want to do it, I'm going to find my own plug. And now we got issues. At least the plug and Juliana know that she's dangerous. Now, what Detective Burke does is she lets Kanan out of the handcuffs and she takes him to the park where Malcolm was shot. And she's asking him, is this where you shot your dad? Oh, did you know that your mom was a confidential informant? Your daddy's a police officer, so that's why you shot him? You didn't want anybody to know? And then they got together and they had you. So Kanan is hearing all of this and he's telling Burke, nah, Malcolm isn't my dad. What are you talking about? DEFCON is my dad. She tells Kanan, I know everything. So this has Kanan thinking, what all does she really know? Because she just exposed that his mom was working with the police and Malcolm is his dad. Kanan thinks that she's still lying, but he knows that she's telling the truth because he knows some of this information. He just didn't know that his mom was working with the police. So she says, if you're not going to give me any information, Kanan, you're under arrest for intention to sell. Because you remember she caught him on the block. But Kanan being Kanan, he ends up pushing her off of him. She falls to the ground. Now he has an assault on a police officer charge. He didn't have no other option but to run. And you hear Burke saying, I know where to find you, Kanan. You're in real trouble now, Kanan. So Kanan is in the streets all the way right now. Marvin comes home after a long day of sliding on the Italians. And when he gets home, he hears some noise upstairs. So, of course, he got that thing out. But when he gets upstairs, it's just Jukebox. He said, I thought somebody was robbing the house. She said, how can I rob my own house? So basically saying she's back in here. She doesn't want to stay at Rock's house because that bed was terrible. And that was Marvin's bed when he grew up. Juke says, that's probably why you're such an asshole. So at least they're talking. And Marvin is saying, I got to do a few things. But after that, you want to go get something to eat. So Juke says, okay, we might be able to. But what happened to the dog? He said he had to get rid of the dog. And he also tells Juke, look, we got to look out for each other. We all we got. Rock is at the new house. She has some flowers in the car talking about, I wish the best for you and your family. Rock throws the flowers against the wall because right now she really doesn't have her family. Kanan isn't listening to her. He's gone. Marvin and Lulu got their own things. But guess who pulls up? Lulu, and he says, I just left the bank, Rock. I need to holler at you. When were you going to tell me you were in on the business? And Raquel loses it. She tells him, I've always been in on the business. Everything you own is because of me, Lulu. You can't go anywhere because you owe me. I own you. Now, I found out that Scrap wasn't a snitch. I got to live with that. I took out Scrap, not you. Could you live with that? And you see Lulu, he's a little hurt because he didn't feel that Scrap was snitching. So now Rock is talking to him like he's an outsider because she already knows what he's going to do. He's going to come. He's going to tell Rock, I don't want to be in the game no more. I'm going to step away from it. I'm going to go do the music. But none of that works. And he always has to come back to her. Now Lulu is starting to realize it because you can see the tears in his eye. He's starting to water up. And Rock is really giving him the harsh, honest truth right now. And she basically tells Lulu, get out my face, man. Quit talking to me about the same thing over and over. I own you. This might be bad because Lulu, it don't look like he took this very well. Kanan doesn't have anywhere else to run. So of course he goes straight to Malcolm's house. And he's like, look, man, I pushed Burke over. Oh, she's saying she knows everything. Malcolm is still playing it cool. He's like, man, she don't know nothing. She just want to make sure that she has all the information that she think is correct before she runs with it. He also tells Kanan, we need to sit down with Rock, me, you, and Rock, and come up with our story. So when people start asking about it, we can all be on the same page. But Kanan, he's not trying to hear that because he knows he has the most to run from right now. Meaning he don't want to go to jail. He want to make some money with Famous. So at least Malcolm is trying to come up with a plan that will work. But Kanan, he ain't really feeling it. And that's another thing. Kanan doesn't trust his mom. So now he's listening to Malcolm. And it's like, this is the only person I could really go to for information. And he might be able to get me out this Burke situation. Burke heard from Jukebox that she might be getting set up and needs to watch the people around her. So she goes to Adina and lets her know if anything happens to me, Detective Malcolm is setting me up. And Adina is saying, you got this information from a high schooler, aka Laverne. She's like, man, Laverne knows her stuff. So right now, Burke, she is very paranoid. Lou pulls up to the studio. Ziza is working on that Ziza mix. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else with Bulletproof Records. She's thinking she's about to record this mixtape. Lou said, no. I'm done. I'm leaving here. She said, what happened? Same thing that always happens. His damn sister. She owns 15% of Bulletproof Records. He doesn't want to be up under her. Ziza, hey, looks like you're on your own, girl, because Lulu is getting out of here. Marvin goes in and checks the count for the day. And then we see Unique with his operation in Jersey. Now the junkies, they knocking on the door because they thinking they got shorted 2 instead of 3. But Warrell is looking at Unique like, man, this is what it is. And Unique is saying the game is changing. The young boys, they ain't messing with this crack. It might be dying. We got to adapt and move forward. Warrell is like, man, this is just what it is. But Unique is thinking outside of the box. He already told Raquel that he's thinking about expanding him and Warrell's business. But he sees that only the old heads are on that rock. It's about that time of the night where you need to stay inside and lock your doors. Now we see Rock is in the house looking at a baby picture of Kanan. Kanan is riding with Malcolm. Then we see Sal go up to the jukebox and put on Oh What a Night. And the war begins. Sal has the music playing. The mob then kicked in the door. They done took down 4 bodies. The war is on, people. They took down 4 of Rock's crew. 1 of Sal's crew got hit in this. And this is just the beginning. The shootout has begun. Sal took it to another level. He not only sent people to Raquel's spot, wet everybody up in there, he sent them at Unique spot. Unique catches a body, Warrell catches a body, Unique catches another body, Warrell gets shot. Man, this is exactly what we've been looking for. Lulu still in the studio packing up. 2 members from Sal's crew come in. They done shot Ziza. She's dead. Lulu throws the headphones. He catches 2 bodies. Sal is playing pool, listening to music while all of this is going down in the streets. Man, there is hell to pay in these New York streets tonight. 91 is a crazy year. Sal's crew then came up in the Baisley. They done shot a couple junkies. They done hit some of Rock's workers. Marvin in the back, he come out with the chop. He lay down somebody. Marvin gets hit in the side. They trying to make it to the damn stairs to get up out of here. This is war. Sal, he's getting even. He played the long game. A couple of his members got hit, but he waited and he set up everybody at the same time. Baisley, the 40s, Unique. Sal said, I'm trying to get rid of everybody. Marvin makes it to the stairs, but like I said, he's hitting his side. So when he goes down to the 7th floor, after they done tossed all the drugs, you remember the gentleman that was in the wheelchair that was trying to use the elevator, and Marvin stopped everybody in through the nose, out through the mouth? Well, he helped the guy in the wheelchair out that day. He lets Marvin come into the house because the mob came down the stairs looking to finish Marvin off. So anger management, thanks a lot, Renee. It worked. Rock is at the house packing things up. Sal smoking cigars because his people are winning. And out of nowhere, Kenya walks up to the house, and we're wondering, what the hell is Kenya doing here? And how does she get to the house when Raquel has guards sitting out front? Kenya says, let's talk mother to mother. Rock is looking around and she sees that her guards, they're dead in the car. And guess who's outside? The mob. They get to shooting. They done shot Kenya in the back trying to get in the house. Kenya got shot. Rock, she doesn't have anywhere to go when she could have just went out the back door, but she turns around and she's facing whatever comes at her. She catches a body. The first mobster comes in, pow, lays him down, but then she catches one in the shoulder. And just like most villains, the other guy comes in, looks over Rock, and he tells her, you should have stayed where you belong. And pow, Unique comes and saves the day, shoots him, offers his hand to Rock, and tells her, Southside. Unique and Rock, they looking out for each other. That's that Southside connection. I said Unique was grimy, but he's gonna make sure that his people are straight. Now, we also remember that Malcolm told Kanan that they need to sit down with Rock and get their story together. So as Unique and Raquel come out, enemies become friends. Malcolm and Kanan pull up. Now these four, they need to get their story together because season 3 is in production now, and we need to know how are these four going to make sure that Burke doesn't figure out everything. Southside. There you go, Raising Kanan season 2, the finale. Very well put together. This is exactly what I've been saying all week. We needed to see something between Raquel and the mob. We also seen that Unique, hey, he's been shooting his shot at Rock and it looked like it may have paid off. Also, Malcolm, he's here. They're about to get this story straight. Season 3 is about to be crazy. We know that they're in production right now. Let me know what you think about the whole overall season. And was this a good finale for you? I think it was. Make sure you tune in tonight, 1 a.m. Eastern, right after the show airs for the first reaction. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern for the live after show discussion. It's going to be crazy. Make sure you're there. I'm Mo.J. If you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.